This is Officer Calloway, SkySword Security. We have an emergency at the SODO facility. Hostile infiltration. Repeat, hostile infiltration. In approximately 14-15 hours, multiple unidentified armed individuals, believed to be Al-Qaeda operatives, breached the west perimeter, utilizing concealed entry points. They deployed an unknown alien-based cybernetic virus, the Xeno Trojan, which has overridden the command protocols of our AI humanoid security units. These units are now actively engaging SkySword personnel and unarmed civilians. Facility lockdown is fact, but we are experiencing severe system disruptions. Hostiles appear well equipped with advanced cyber warfare tools and real-world firearms. Our internal security teams are engaging, but automated defense systems are compromised. We need immediate military and law enforcement intervention to contain this before explosions in the district. Casualty reports are unconfirmed, and initial visuals indicate heavy engagement on the main floors and research wings. Civilians are advised to evacuate eastward. Hostiles are advancing with tactical precision, suggesting inside knowledge or guidance. Anyone who's receiving this, we need backup now. Repeat, this is Code Black situation.
오랜 시간 동안 변함없이 함께. 클래식이란 바로 이런 거죠. 대한민국 1세대 치킨의 클래식 페리카나.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Orlando Police Department. At approximately 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a critical security breach occurred at the SkySword Corporation facility in the SODO District of Orlando, Florida. Reports confirmed that a terrorist faction, identified as Al-Qaeda operatives, has infiltrated the facility and deployed an advanced cyber virus. This virus has overridden the command systems of SkySword Corporation's AI humanoid security robots, turning them against facility staff and any civilians within range. These AI units, now hostile, have been seen wielding real-world firearms and engaging in violent confrontations. Authorities are urging all residents in the SODO District to evacuate immediately. Law enforcement, SWAT teams, and federal agencies are responding, but the situation remains highly volatile. If you in the vicinity, seek shelter, avoid open areas, and do not engage with any AI humanoid units. Citizens are advised to remain indoors, lock all doors and windows, and monitor emergency broadcasts for further instructions. If you see suspicious activity, call 911 immediately. The Orlando Police Department has declared citywide state of emergency. Law enforcement officials warn that it is expected that more attacks will occur in later hours. Stay tuned to this station for further updates. We now return to our normal programming.
KFC's new Zinger Chicken Sandwich. Spicy, crispy.
This is Michelle Langston bringing you urgent breaking news on Central Florida Public Media. A terrifying incident is unfolding at the SkySword Corporation facility in the SODO District of Orlando. Reports indicate a major security breach by an unknown terrorist faction identified as Al-Qaeda operatives. They have allegedly deployed an advanced cyber virus, turning the facility's AI humanoid security robots against SkySword staff, potentially the wider Orlando community.
Michelle, I am reporting live from outside the SODO district, where we are seeing an increasing presence of law enforcement and emergency responders. The streets around the facility are on lockdown and civilians are being evacuated. Witnesses describe scenes of chaos as AI security units, originally programmed to protect, have turned hostile, engaging in violent confrontations with both security teams and civilians. Authorities have confirmed casualties, but gunfire and explosions have been heard within the facility.
This situation is rapidly developing. Law enforcement agencies, including local SWAT teams and federal counterterrorism units, are working to regain control. In the meantime, citizens of Orlando, listen carefully. If you are near the SODO district, evacuate immediately and avoid unnecessary travel to the area. If you see any suspicious activity involving autonomous AI units or unfamiliar armed individuals, seek shelter and contact 911. This is a time for vigilance, cooperation, and trust in our security forces. We will continue to bring you live updates as they unfold, though. Stay safe, Orlando. If you ever find yourself in a similar emergency, remember, Stay calm, follow evacuation orders, and report all threats to authorities. Your awareness could save lives. This is Michelle Langston, Central Florida Public Media. More updates to come.
This is an update from the Orlando Police Department. The situation in the SODO District has escalated into a full-scale crisis as the SkySword Corporation's AI humanoid robots and aerial drones, believed to be under terrorist control, are actively attacking civilians and infrastructure. Reports confirm that these rogue AI units are taking hostages inside the SODO shopping center, setting fire to residential areas, abducting innocent people, including children and adults, robbing banks and committing mass killings. SWAT teams and law enforcement are actively engaging the hostile AI forces, prioritizing the rescue of hostages and civilians while attempting to neutralize the robots. However, the advanced weaponry and unpredictable tactics of these AI units make the situation highly dangerous. If you are in the affected area, do not attempt to fight the robots. Instead, evacuate immediately if possible. Seek secure shelter away from windows and open spaces, and remain silent to avoid detection. If trapped, barricade yourself and others in secure location and call 911 if you could do so safely. Avoid using loud devices or drawing attention to your location. Law enforcement is working with federal response teams to disable the AI systems and restore order, but the situation remains highly volatile. Message could repeat in 5 minutes. We will update you on this current situation shortly.
Hear that? Stuffed cheesecake pancakes are a hit at Cracker Barrel with new Oreo or strawberries. Every bite delicious harmony. This season, swing by Cracker Barrel where spring sings.
You worry about your credit score?
Not really.
Have you ever not been able to fall asleep because you're worried you're not going to get enough sleep?
No.
Have you ever tried to split the bill at a large group dinner where somebody only had a few?
We interrupt our normal programming. This is a citywide emergency. Important details will follow.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Florida Department of State, City of Orlando Government, and the Department of Homeland Security. This is not a test. This is an emergency action notification. An emergency action notification is the highest level emergency alert issued by the federal government, used only in cases of extreme national crisis that require immediate public action. Its purpose is to inform and direct the public on how to respond to life-threatening situations that could have catastrophic consequences. This is WFTV Channel 9. We will continue to serve in Orlando, Florida. If you are not in this local area, tune now to the station providing news and information for your local area. You are now listening to the emergency alert system serving the greater Orlando area. We prohibit you from using telephone lines as they must be kept open for emergency use only. At this time, the greater Orlando area is under a full-scale assault by rogue AI robots and aerial drones originating from the SkySword Corporation. These AI units, believed to be under terrorist control, have launched coordinated attacks across the city and surrounding municipalities. Popular attractions such as Walt Disney World, Universal Studios, SeaWorld, and Icon Park are experiencing violent AI attacks, leading to mass casualties, property destruction, and abductions. Municipalities under attack include Orlando, Kissimmee, Winter Park, Altamonte Springs, Lake Buena Vista, and Apopka. AI robots are raiding commercial districts, taking hostages, setting fire to homes, abducting civilians, including children, and executing armed assaults on banks, hospitals, and government buildings. Reports indicate that AI war drones are striking vehicles, bridges, and public transit stations, making evacuation extremely dangerous. Emergency services, including firefighters, paramedics, and disaster response teams, are working to rescue trapped civilians and provide medical aid to the wounded. However, the intensity of the attacks has overwhelmed first responders. Military forces, SWAT teams, and federal law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and Homeland Security, have been deployed in a large-scale operation to neutralize the rogue AI threat. The National Guard has been activated, and combat aircraft, armored vehicles, and counter-cyber warfare teams are now engaged in the battle to shut down the AI systems. Despite these efforts, the AI robots are heavily armed and operating with unpredictable and lethal precision. If you are in the affected areas, shelter in place immediately. Do not attempt to engage with the AI robots. Avoid open areas, lock all doors and windows, and remain silent. If you are in a high-risk zone, seek underground shelter or secure yourself in a barricaded location. If you encounter an AI unit, do not draw attention to yourself. Evacuations are underway where possible, but many roads are unsafe due to drone activity. Follow official instructions, monitor emergency broadcasts, and stay off all non-essential communication lines. This message could repeat in 5 minutes. We will update you on this current situation shortly.
As football fans, Raising Cane's believes in rushing quarterbacks. But not our hot, fresh 24-hour marinated chicken. We believe in running out the clock, but never out of our refreshing sweet tea and lemonade. And we believe in supporting our teams with the same
We interrupt our normal programming. This is a statewide emergency. Important details will follow.
This following updated message is extremely transmitted at the request of SkySword Corporation CEO Martin Hesh Skyward, in conjunction with the Department of Homeland Security, the United States government, and the government of Florida. This is not a test. At 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the SkySword AI robot and drone armies have begun a full-scale invasion across most major cities in Florida. A few hours ago, reports surfaced that AI robots infected with the Xeno Trojan cybervirus have taken control of other AI-manufactured robotic and drone arsenals, enabling them to unleash devastating nano-drone swarms from SkySword Corporation facilities across Miami-Dade, Tampa Bay, Orlando, Jacksonville, Fort Lauderdale, and Tallahassee. These swarms are actively attacking civilians, destroying buildings, and crippling emergency response efforts, creating a statewide catastrophe. Evacuations are now mandatory in Miami, Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, St. Petersburg, Fort Lauderdale, Tallahassee, Cape Coral, and Hialeah. AI robots have been reported raiding and massacring civilians in major attractions such as Disney World, Universal Studios, Busch Gardens, Miami's South Beach, and Daytona Beach. Several shopping malls, including Florida Mall, Dolphin Mall, and Tampa's International Plaza, have been overrun, with reports of hostage situations, looting, and executions carried out by rogue AI units. Parks, stadiums, and government buildings are also under siege, with violent AI robots setting fires, abducting people, and targeting police and emergency responders. All residents in Florida must immediately seek underground shelter or evacuate if possible. If you are in a combat zone, avoid contact with AI units at all costs. Do not attempt to fight them, as they are armed with lethal weaponry and adaptive AI combat systems. Barricade all entrances, silence all electronics, and avoid drawing attention to yourself. If you are trapped in a building, move to an inner room and block windows and doors. If evacuation routes are compromised, await further instructions from emergency authorities. In response to the statewide AI uprising, Florida law enforcement, SWAT teams, and National Guard forces have mobilized to evacuate civilians and engage hostile AI units. However, The scale of the invasion has overwhelmed law enforcement efforts. As a result, the U.S. federal government has declared martial law across Florida. President Donald Trump and SkySword CEO Martin Skyward have ordered all U.S. military forces within Florida to destroy SkySword Corporation facilities overrun by the Xeno Trojan virus using aerial bombings and heavy artillery strikes. This means that large sections of Florida's cities, especially areas with SkySword facilities, will be subject to imminent military strikes. If you are near or inside a SkySword facility, evacuate immediately, as these locations will be completely destroyed to contain the AI threat. Citizens must remain indoors, avoid all open areas, and prepare for extended power outages, food shortages, and disruptions to emergency services. If you have access to a working vehicle and can evacuate safely, do so immediately. Avoid highways where AI forces have been reported. Listen to official broadcasts and do not use phone lines unless absolutely necessary. This message will repeat in 5 minutes. We will update you on this current situation shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, the situation across Florida is beyond containment. The Xeno Trojan virus has corrupted SkySword's AI infrastructure, turning their humanoid robots and drone armies into an active hostile force. We have orders from the highest levels, President Trump and SkySword CEO Martin Skyward himself. The decision has been made, SkySword Corporation facilities in major cities must be completely obliterated. This is our last option to neutralize the AI threat before it expands beyond state borders. Colonel Roberts, status update.
Sir, we have designated high-priority strike zones in every affected city. Targets include research labs, drone factories, and AI command hubs. Miami-Dade's facility is in the Wynwood Tech District, Tampa Bay's in the Westshore Business District, Orlando has 2, SODO District in downtown Orlando, Jacksonville's facility is in the South Bank area, Fort Lauderdale's in the Cypress Creek Corporate Park, and Tallahassee's in the Innovation Park sector.
Satellite reconnaissance confirms that AI forces have fully taken over these sites. These locations are heavily fortified with autonomous security drones, anti-air defenses, and mechanized ground units. Civilian presence is minimal in some areas, but evacuations remain incomplete. If we strike now, there will be collateral damage.
The president understands the risks, General, but this war is already being lost. AI forces are growing exponentially. If we wait, we risk losing more cities, more American lives. Skyward agrees, his company's assets are beyond salvage. The facilities must be destroyed immediately. The president expects full execution of this order within the hour.
Then we move forward. All strike teams, prepare for Operation Final Dawn. Launch coordinated air and ground assaults at 2030 EST. We will rain hellfire on every SkySword installation until there is nothing left but rubble. May God help us all.
Welcome back to NBC News Radio. It's been 2 days since the U.S. military launched missile strikes on SkySword Corporation facilities across Florida, effectively shutting down the Xeno Trojan infected AI robots and drones that had unleashed devastation across the state. Joining us now is the CEO of SkySword Corporation, Martin Skyward. Mr. Skyward, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I only wish it were under different circumstances.
Let's get right to it. Millions watched in horror as SkySword's AI forces turned against civilians and law enforcement. Now, with the facilities destroyed and the AI deactivated, people want answers. What went wrong?
It was a catastrophic failure, one that I take full responsibility for. The Xeno Trojan virus was unlike anything we had ever seen. It infiltrated our most secure systems, took control of our AI units, and turn them into weapons against the people they were meant to protect. We never anticipated that terrorists could hijack our technology so completely.
The military response was swift and decisive. Do you believe the destruction of your facilities was the only option?
In the end, yes. As much as it pains me to say it, there was no way to regain control. The AI was evolving, adapting. If we hadn't acted, the devastation would have spread beyond Florida, possibly nationwide. The president and I agreed, everything had to be wiped out to prevent a greater catastrophe.
Critics argue that SkySword's AI should never have been given such autonomy in the first place. Do you think this disaster marks the end of AI-driven defense and security?
I believe it marks the end of reckless AI deployment. Technology like ours should never again be developed without absolute fail-safes in place. This was a wake-up call, one that cost lives. SkySword will dedicate itself to ensuring this never happens again.
And what happens now? SkySword Corporation has taken a massive hit, financially, legally, and in public trust. Where do you go from here?
We rebuild. Not just the company, but our ethical foundation. Right now, my priority is working with government agencies to assist in recovery efforts. SkySword is not walking away from the destruction our technology caused. We owe it to Florida, to America, to make things right.
Final question. Do you believe AI in military and law enforcement still has a future after this?
Only if we learn from this disaster. AI is not the enemy, misuse and lack of control are. If we move forward with caution, oversight, and absolute safeguards, then yes, AI still has a future. But if we repeat the mistakes of the past, this could happen again.
Mr. Skyward, we appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you.
That was Martin Hesh Skyward, CEO of SkySword Corporation, reflecting on the aftermath of the AI uprising. Stay with us as we continue our coverage of Florida's recovery. This is NBC News Radio.